Hey guys, welcome back. Craig Peterson here. We've been talking a lot about working from home, and if you missed any of today's show and you are working from home or you're a business who has people who are working from home or considering having people working from home, you're going to want to catch the replays of today's show. And you can usually find those right by going to craigpeterson.com/iTunes. You can also find it almost anywhere in any podcast platform out there. Just search for Craig Peterson and you'll find today's whole show there available as a podcast. And we covered just a ton of topics there, and we're talking right now about those companies that are really kind of high stakes security, intelligence agencies, critical infrastructure, anybody who's developing things for the DoD, contractors, subcontractors, subcontractors. And we got this whole CMMC thing going on, and I'm talking with people who have attended these briefings on it and just don't understand what they need to do and how to do it, and they just won't do it because they can't believe they're required to have all this security. It's just crazy. But here's the bottom line. Last week, the U.S. government's Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency issued an advisory to critical infrastructure companies to prepare for remote work scenarios as this whole COVID-19 spreads. And they told people that they have to check that their VPN networks are patched, that they have implemented multi-factor authentication, that they have tested out the remote access scenarios, that all of the machines are patched. And of course, there's a lot more to it than just that. But the cybersecurity consultants, like me, who actually work with those high-stake clients, and this is from an Ars Technica article here, including electric utilities, oil and gas firms, manufacturing companies, say it's not always so simple for many of their most critical customers, and even more so for intelligence agencies. Remote work and security just don't mix. And that is absolutely true. This should be a wake-up call. If you are a company that has to meet any of these higher security standards, and most particularly that you have to meet the DFARS standards, the ITAR standards, the new CMMC standards, which are all of the military-esque standards, the NIST 171 standards, you cannot have people working at home, okay? So here is a statement from a team lead over the Department of Energy. This should be a fairly good wake-up call. You need to figure out a way that if individuals cannot physically access the control system for a service that cannot stop, like electricity, water, wastewater, similar services, you ensure continuous operation, even in the face of an environment where you might be risking your employees' lives if they continue to commute into the office. So think about that one. That is absolutely an amazing statement here. For many industrial networks, the highest standard of security is an air gap, and this is what we do with our manufacturing clients. This means a physical disconnect between the inner sanctum of software connected to physical environment and the less sensitive internet-connected IT systems. So there are very few of the private sector firms that are using air gaps. In other words, there is no physical connection. The obvious exception is highly regulated nuclear power utilities who have implemented actual air gaps, and my clients for whom we have put air gaps in place in 100% of the cases where it's been possible. But again, my clients want to have their network secure because they don't want stuff stolen. They don't want to get sued by releasing personal identifiable information, and they don't want the manufacturing line shut down. And so that's a very big thing to think about. Because all of these restrictions we're talking about create these massive choke points for hackers and also for remote workers. So think about that. There's things like jump boxes. We've done that before. It kind of depends on the software that's being used, if you can put those in place. We've got administrators bumping each other off as they try and work and log in, because these jump boxes, these, you might call them gateways, they basically, you SSH into that box, and from there you SSH into a different part of the network, so you have to kind of jump around. Some of them are not the ones we use or build ourselves, but some of them only allow one of the administrators to be on at a time. So think about that. If you fit into any of those, you have a bigger issue. And I'd be glad to talk to you guys. Believe me, be glad to talk to you. I mean, talk to you and help you with what you have. I have set aside some 15-minute time blocks that are going to be, I'm going to send out an email again this week and let people sign up. If your business is having problems, talk to me, reach out, right? I'm a resource here. Don't let my 40 plus years of experience with this go to waste. I want to help. I can help. You don't have to be a client, okay? And I will dedicate 15 minutes or half an hour to help you out to get you going, okay? Because this is that important. I know what it's like to own a business. I've owned a business for many decades, and I know I get very frustrated when I feel like I'm kind of all left alone. Okay, that's off my chest. And you can do that just by emailing me at craigpeterson.com, or you can go to my company's website as well, mainstream.net, and there is a contact form on there where you can leave a message and I'll get back to you, or some other member of my team will reach back to you. Great article. This is by the Ars Technica staff on working at home. And they've done it for 22 years. Ars Technica has. And as you know, I've been doing it for more than a couple of decades as well. But let's kind of run through what their suggestions are here to kind of finish up the show. One work from home suggestion from them was snacks, supplies, a pet, and dolls. Now, you know, I don't recommend snacks because I intermittent fast, right? A pet, we have a pet. We have a Great Dane, have lots of supplies, and I don't have any dolls. But anyways, you should consider upgrading to a more ergonomic workstation. And this is particularly true if you're working from home for a long time. For instance, I have these tables from SIS. SIS is a company that makes office furniture. And what are these? If I was laying down, I'd say these are about 6 foot long and maybe 2-3 feet deep. And they raise and lower a few feet. So I can sit in a chair, I can sit on a ball here, and kind of a big exercise ball. I can stand up, I can move around. It is phenomenal, and I have these at most of my workstations. They're just absolutely phenomenal. I love these things. Before these, I had one that I just attached to a regular table, and I could raise and lower my keyboard, mouse, and screen, and that was just wonderful as well. So remember that. It is very handy. Let's see, other suggestions from Ars Technica. They said they've done this since 98. And see, okay, so this is from Jay Timmer, Senior Science Editor. Your office needs to have a view, he says. Trees, birds, open sky, just something you find appealing so that when you raise your head from your screen to clear your mind, there's something there that you want to see. I do have a couple of windows here in my working area, and I can kind of see the sky, so it's not too bad. But again, I get up, move around. He says also have an exercise and activity routine. Many studies have shown that simply getting up and moving a bit is incredibly positive for your health. And that's what I do. I don't get completely sedentary. Senior Tech Policy Reporter Timothy Lee says have a physically separate workspace. I talked a lot about that earlier in the show. And again, you can find the show at craigpeterson.com/iTunes and subscribe there as well. So he says, let's see, put it as far as possible from the kitchen, laundry room, TV, and other sources of domestic distraction. Senior technology editor Lee Hutchinson. He says it's slack, not slacking. In my experience, what helps more than anything is to have coworkers who are also virtual. At a past job I held for a year or so, where I was the only remote teammate in a large Bellevue, Washington-based admin team, I just missed everybody. I was remote from my team there as at home. So he goes on to say that they use Slack. Now, I don't particularly like Slack. It is not secure. It does not meet any of the security standards. The only thing that does is the high-level version of WebEx Teams. And that's what I use. That's what we use, because our clients that need security, all of their security requirements are passed down to us by law. So we have to be as secure as they are, or at least as they're supposed to be. And so that's what we use. We use the WebEx Teams. And if you'd like this 90-day free trial, we can set you up, we can get it going, and we can give you a higher level, better version of it than you can get right now at the webex.com website. But if you don't want to bother me, I understand, you can get it yourself, but please do me a favor and just email me, at craigpeterson.com, and ask me any questions, including this, and we can get you set up with this trial. Let's see, Shelter in as many forms, Jennifer Ouellette, senior writer. And she is saying that it makes a huge difference having everybody working remotely. Now, remember, Ars Technica, they publish, they do writing, a little different than a manufacturer. But she had online communities. That's what she likes. Groups of friends who are science writers. And she's always loved it. It's got a picture of her cat here, too. Kind of a cute cat. But anyways, there's a whole bunch of others that I have up on my website as well at craigpeterson.com. You'll see those in the blogs off of the homepage. And again, make sure you sign up. I'm going to be having some deep dive webinars this week, answering all of your questions. We'll be talking about VPNs, about the tools you can use, basically about everything. But you have to subscribe. craigpeterson.com/subscribe. Do it right now. Go to your computer, type in this URL, craigpeterson.com/subscribe, and subscribe, and you'll find out about all these webinars and much, much more. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you Wednesday at 7:38 with Ken and Matt.